Welcome to all of you, and happy to be here another year, or at least the beginning of another year. I think and hope we will have a nice year with a lot of further growth. And I don't mean growth in number of people, I mean growth inside the people who really want it. So I want to say a little bit about something somebody said to me recently, and it had to do with cracking the code of transformation, or the code, of being in a free state. And I have to say, yes, I have cracked the code, but I have to crack it again every day. It doesn't crack itself. Once you've figured out what it takes, then you also realize that there are new circumstances every day, and new tensions and new challenges and new life, new good things coming in. And so what worked yesterday doesn't necessarily work 100% the same today. But I do want to say a little bit about what that means to crack the code, because it is relatively simple, or at least the practice that I have been doing for so many years, and many of you have been doing very many years. It does have a structure to it. And if you follow that, the code will crack. It will open. You will open. But I would say the first thing is to accept the fact that, take the responsibility for being the captain of your ship. Your conscious mind is what is steering your ship, and if you don't take that responsibility, then your subconscious mind will steer your ship with all its patterns and all its, traumas and all of its conditioning and all of its tendencies. Nothing to be guilty about any of that, but that's just what happens. So accept the fact that, to counteract all of those kinds of things, which have also a lot of good things in them. We learned a lot growing up. We got a lot of good things from our parents and environment, but there are things there that we need to transcend and get beyond, rise above them. And by doing that, we are allowing that transformation to happen. But we have to want it. That's number one. And then once we want it and feel our yearning for that and our trust in that it will happen, then use whoever or whatever lineage you have gotten a hold of, and trust. In this case, I'm sitting here, so you have to relate to me. But it's not me, it's not the guy who grew up of Gründlaka. He is long gone, although he's still in here somewhere. But what is really the main thing is the essence, to use the contact as a way of inspiring yourself to go through that gateway into your inner self. How does it feel? How is it different? One person I talked with talked about, having dark things. And we all have dark things. But the dark things are actually a great source of light. Depends how we relate to them. This is what the chud is all about. It's about loving the demons. If we have a demon sitting here, the more we can have a positive, loving, forgiving attitude towards whatever creatures appear as symbols, in a way, of the difficulties and the traumas of our life, then, we take responsibility as we do in chud, offering ourselves. Okay, take me, I love you, it's fine. You can't hurt me. And then, the energy of that so-called darkness gets absorbed into you as part of your state of being, as part of your energy flow. And gradually, you learn to master it. There's nothing, I've been on where they burn the bodies in Nepal, with Wangdur Lama and doing the chud, and it's scary. The body is burning in the background, and there are demons there. There are real forces that are lost and trying to suck the life out of you. But if you are not succumbing to your fear, then they are powerless. And they actually have to respond to your surrendering into the connection with them, and including that, all that, and the main demons, is what we have inside ourselves, what we're afraid of, what we have gathered. And so many of you have really come a long way already, dissolving that and being so much more creative and energetic and happy as a result of eating of your own so-called negativity. So it is possible to do it, and I encourage you to just really try to do it. And the mantra, the whole thing of shifting from desire to prema, from krama to prema. This is a tantric thing to do. Every time you notice something coming up in you that is so-called negative or dark, you want this, you want that, why can't I have that, why isn't it like that, why was it like that, why did he do that to me, why did she do that to me? The world is what it's going to be, but the way we relate to that world can be totally opposite each other. So, the minute you feel one of those forces come up in you and you say, wow, this is dark, consciously don't play the game. This is the ego-conditioning trauma game, that it wants to engage you. It wants to continue that game or that process. And then you will, with your attention, feed it, and it'll get bigger and bigger and bigger. So the minute you see a sign that it's wanting to get in you, say no thank you. And just really mean it and shift your attention from that engagement with that which is not good for you to something that is good for you. Be aware, that this desire or this karma can be transformed into a prema, from a desire or a sense of something is missing, or I'm not this, I'm not that, to putting all that energy into the yearning for more freedom, more joy, more ability to be in the moment, here and now, enjoying the life that you have and expanding that life. The most important thing to expand is the inner life. And gradually some of the things come in outer life as well. And I would encourage you also, at some point, we've talked quite a bit of the mantra, I wish to grow, and that is very powerful and very good to do. At certain points, you can also use a simple mantra, I wish to release and surrender. I want to surrender, I want to surrender. However you want to put that in Norwegian or whatever. But if you can do that and visualize that some of the things that have got you tied in knots, some of those things can start to fall off your shoulders like a weight. You can visualize it as a rucksack that you put down, a weight that you've had to carry. Put it down. Or see dark clouds, which balloons that puff open and this dark smoke dissipates and it's not doing anything to you anymore. Be a little creative with how you visualize and use the practice. Yes, it has a core structure, but it's how you use it is also very important. If you feel terrible, okay, dance around in your living room or wherever you are and play some nice music and, just be nice to yourself. This is very helpful. The last thing is using the witness awareness. And that means, anytime you are facing things that are particularly difficult, that's when it is most important. Because instead of getting drawn into the drama of that, whatever difficult feeling, situation, story it is, you are very aware that you are just witnessing that. And as you're witnessing it, just like you're witnessing a play on the stage, witness your own Shakespeare play, which is your own, being played out. And feel the freedom that comes from that. And feel the inherent joy of being free of the story. It's just a story. It's a wonderful story most of the time. Sometimes it's a very difficult story, but would you really like a story on the stage if it didn't have some drama in it? I don't think so. Or if you're a musician, or interested in music, would you like a beautiful or a huge symphony if it didn't have some drama in it? It has to have drama. So be grateful for your drama. And notice also, when you get that far, that as you get used to witnessing your own life, as a story. And I don't mean those of you who have children, that you suddenly become this cold fish who don't care about your children. I mean, you are looking with a little bit of detachment so that you can allow your own nurtured system to feel the joy of being in a magnificent story. Even if it's very, very difficult, it's magnificent. So notice once you get used to doing that a little more, and that is not only in meditation, but in everyday life. Be aware that you have just a little bit of distance. When you're meeting something really difficult, you can step back. And physically, I used to do this when I was traveling in Japan with a lot of ego-centered executives on study mission. And they were difficult. I used to just pull back and not let it trigger me. And then I kept going, and it turned out okay. And notice after a while that as you are witnessing your life, you may discover that I am the observer. I am Shiva. I'm really deeper than what I'm looking at. I'm not in a dualistic state. I'm in a oneness state. When you are that observer, that's all there is. And you might say, well, that sounds boring. But it is totally liberated. It's like it was before we were born, and it's like it's going to be after we die. No problems, no identity. Just being the divine observer. I mean, how fabulous is that? And also the divine creator. We are both of those things. So don't be afraid to feel your own power and your own freedom. But we got to start where we are, and we gradually move that way. So here we have a lot of stuff we can talk about and reflect on and work on. And I am not pretending that I'm, telling you something that you're gonna constantly, completely do tomorrow, but you can work on it. And there is nothing wrong with anything that you have right now. Don't judge yourself. Don't judge anybody else. Take where you are. Be happy with that as a starting point.